What's up everyone, I'm Toast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Psychic Cup running Shadow Latios in the lead, Bronzong as a save swap to bait out the hardest Metagross counters, and then my shiny Shadow Metagross as the closer, which actually worked out really well for me as I gained over 150 elo in just 5 sets. Now do bear in mind I started in the mid 2100s, so not particularly high, but it's still early in the season, elo doesn't really matter at this point, so you might as well just focus on enjoying your battles. By the way, I am running Solar Beam on my Latios. It takes an absolute eternity to get to the Solar Beam, so you could definitely get by with just a single move to Latios, but you will see it come clutch in at least one of these battles. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which Shadow Legendary Pokemon are you most looking forward to coming into Pokemon Go, just for the fact that it would now allow it to be Great League eligible? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Shadow Latios into Shadow Gardevoir, an absolute awful lead for us here, as we're going to save swap into the Bronzong, and the opponent responds with a Bruxish. So I'm going to go for the Heavy Slam here. This is resisted damage, but they do have to respect it, otherwise we could fast move farm them down, and now at this point, after they've shielded, there's no way we can flip switch advantage, so I'm going to let the Bronzong go down. I'm going to wait out the switch clock here, and I will come back in with my Shadow Latios, and I will actually let them get a few more bites off, meaning they're only in range where 1-2 charms takes me out. They're still switch locked, by the way, and they won't make it to a charge move either, and now the opponent has a Malamar in the back, which has absolutely zero fast move pressure up against my Metagross. As we do double resist the Psycho Cuts, we have a big energy advantage, a shield advantage, and we make it to the second Meteor Mash. This will easily be taking out the Malamar, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Shadow Latios into a Slowking, a Galarian Slowking at that, and now the opponent is going to go for a Surf straight away. We can easily let this go through. Not sure what they're thinking there, not going to grab a shield, but they do get me fairly low, so maybe that was their intentions after all. We're now going to swap into the Bronzong, shield up, and the opponent does full send the Shadow Ball this time around before swapping into a Malamar. Now we do have a slight energy advantage. We make it to the payback just before they make it to the foul play, and we actually grab a shield in this matchup. Now Bronzong is fairly bulky, we are double resisting these Psycho Cuts, so we are going to have to tank another foul play. They are not going to be able to fast move farm us down, so they do go for that second foul play just before we make it to the Heavy Slam, and now we have a Dragon Claw banked, so we're going to go for it straight away into the Malamar, grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and at this point they are in range where I can one shield and fully Bullet Punch farm them all the way down with my Shadow Metagross. So we come in here, we are going to shield the first move coming through. They shouldn't make it to a second foul play. The opponent's actually going to swap into their Galarian Slowking. We get the full Bullet Punch farm down. We Bullet Punch, farm down the Malamar as well, and they've got a Galarian Slowbro in the back. We can go straight for the Earthquake, and this will be one-shotting the Slowbro, and I'm able to take that game. So into the next game, we see Galarian Rapidash in the lead, so also a very bad matchup. We're going to swap into the Bronzong, and we're met with Galarian Slowking. Now, they will barely outpace me to the Shadow Ball before I make it to the payback, so I go for a Heavy Slam bait. We grab the shield, and at this point, I'm going to call a bait of my own. We're not going to be able to win this matchup if they go straight Shadow Ball, so unfortunately, they do go for that Shadow Ball, and they do take me out. But now we're going to come in with the Latios. I'm hoping I can Dragon Breath, farm them down, and only have to shield once here. But let's see, the opponent's going to go for a charge move. We shield at the last second. It's just a Surf bait, which is really unfortunate, but now I'm going to do a couple of Dragon Breaths maybe. Nope, just going to swap straight away. The opponent has a Malamar in the back. This is looking bad, but the opponent makes a huge mistake. They throw on the CMP tie. We grab the final shield from the opponent, and at this point, this is game over for them. As they go for the foul play, they take me out. They probably think they're in a great position here, as they've still got a very healthy Galarian Rapidash, but this is where Solar Beam is going to come in clutch. We will barely be able to get the Dragon Breath farm down. We come out with the Solar Beam loaded, and this is easily gonna one-shot the Galarian Rapidash, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see another Galarian Rapidash in the lead. So once again, gonna save swap into my Bronzong, and the opponent responds with a Malamar. So not looking great once again. We will go for a payback. They throw on the CMP tie. That's fine with me. Once again, we can see that we do very easily live out foul play, and there's no way they can fast move farm me down. So they have to go for a second charge move. We grab a shield advantage. That's the best we can get out of this matchup. But unfortunately, the opponent has farmed up to 2 foul plays here. So they go for the first one. They have a second one banked already. So I'm going to come in with my Latios. We know we do lose that lead matchup up against the Galarian Rapidash, so I'm actually going to fully sacrifice the Latios and hope that shiny Shadow Metagross can sweep once again. We use our shield here and we will shield up the foul play. I'm hoping we get the farm down before they get to another move, but they've actually got a Water Gun Slowbro in the back. I'm going to go for a risky bait here with the Meteor Mash, but the opponent calls it and they let it go through. It doesn't quite take them out there. I don't know if Earthquake would have taken them out. They actually go for an Ice Beam as well, and looking at their CP, they're not fully powered up. I'm wondering if they brought the wrong Slowbro into that battle, but either way, they're still able to get to a Body Slam, take out my Metagross before I made it to back-to-back Meteor Mashes, and I do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next game, we see Malamar in the lead now. On paper, this is bad, but we can win the 2-shield scenario, and these Dragon Breaths really do chunk. So even if they do beat us, we will get them very low. So the opponent actually safe swaps into Bronzong, and I do not have a great response here. I'm hoping I was fast enough that I could go for a Heavy Slam before they made it to the payback, but the opponent actually baits with a Heavy Slam. Now this should be very obviously just a Heavy Slam on my end, as we didn't make it to the payback, so they let it go through, and we go for the farm down. We barely don't get there, but they are so low that I'm actually not too fussed. Heavy Slam does take us out. We do have a shield disadvantage, but we've now got a very big energy advantage with the Malamar coming back in. So we go for the Dragon Claw, grabbing the first shield from the opponent, and we do make it to a second Dragon Claw before they make it to the foul play, and Dragon Claw will be taking out the Malamar. They've got Victini in the back, and this is a very good matchup for us. We just have to shield the V-Create, and if they do get very close to farming us down, I will swap into the Metagross, but that was not the case there, as I'm able to fully Dragon Breath, farm them down, and take that game. So into the next game, we see Latios into Victini, so we are going to stay in this lead matchup. The opponent is going to swap out eventually into their Rapidash. We come in with the Metagross. We will shield once here, respect the damage from a potential Mega Horn or a high horsepower. They bait with the Body Slam, but they will not make it to another charge move. And now the opponent is going to come back in with the Victini. We might as well go straight Earthquake in this matchup here, and Earthquake will be taking out the Victini from full health near enough, and they come in with a Malamar. They do outpace us to the foul play, so I will just let the Metagross go down. We've got a ton of fast move pressure with our Shadow Latios, and at this point I'm actually going to commit to a farm down here. No, actually I'm going to shield this up and try and go for a Solar Beam. They've got 2 shields remaining, but they're so low. I'm thinking maybe we can land this here, but no, they actually do shield it up. It doesn't matter, we get the Dragon Breath farm down anyways, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next game, we see Bruxish in the lead. So initially I did stay in a little bit and then swap into my Bronzong, but later on in matches I did just safe swap into my Bronzong straight away. But here they go for the Psychic Fangs bait. Not sure why, because now we can fully fast move farm them down, come out with a ton of energy. We go for a payback straight away, but they've got their own Bronzong in the back, and this is not looking too good for us. We are going to wait out the switch clock here and then come in with my Shadow Latios, and we do have a bit of energy. We will make it to a Dragon Claw, but it is resisted damage, and this is not going to do too much up against the Bronzong. It does get them into the yellow health. We do swap out just before Latios goes down, which might be useful in the end game here, but we still need to get rid of the Bronzong here. So we're going to over farm in this matchup, throw just before they make it to the next charge move, and if they shield this up, it might be that they've got a Fairy type in the back. So it looks like that's the case. If it's Rapidash, we should be able to take them out and have enough health here to make it to a Meteor Mash, but it is a Gardevoir, and instead the Charm completely takes out the Metagross. It takes out my Latios, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next game, another Shadow Gardevoir in the lead, so we say swap into the Bronzong. They're quite slow to swap out there, but they do swap into Malamar, and they throw before we make it to the charge move as well. So foul play, gonna do big damage, but once again, a very comfortable tank there, and we're actually gonna bait with a Heavy Slam here. And Heavy Slam does go unshielded. That's really unfortunate, because I don't know if I can fully feint attack farm them down if I double shield, so I don't want to risk it and end up going down 2 shields whilst my opponent actually does still make it to the next foul play to take us out here. So we are going to let this move go through. I'm not quite sure how much energy they've got. Foul play will be taking us out. We come in with the Latios, we get the farm down, and now we're going to swap into Metagross, and very luckily for us, they've also got another Fairy type in the back in the form of Rapidash. They do make it to a Body Slam bait, but they won't even make it to a second Body Slam, and now I can fully Bullet Punch, farm down the Gardevoir from this range, and take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, we see Latios into another Galarian Rapidash. So I did see quite a lot of fairy leads with this team. The opponent responds with Claydol. This is absolutely awful. I'm not sure whether to bait or go for the payback straight away. We go for the payback. The opponent actually calls the bait there, and I'm able to flip switch advantage, and that is absolutely massive for me, as now the opponent's going to overfarm with the Victini, so I can go straight for a payback once again, grabbing the shield from the opponent, and because we are resisting the quick attack damage, they have to throw their energy. So at this point, we're looking to be really good. They go for the V-Create. We do let that go through. We can tank the next one here. I'm assuming they're going to swap out straight away. So I'm going to swap into my Metagross, and they do swap into the Rapidash. Now, they do have a little bit of energy here. So I'm going to shield the first one. It's just a body slam bait. They make it to another charge move, but it doesn't even matter if it is the Mega Horn. It's just a body slam here, and I will be able to make it to 2 Meteor Mashes before they can get to 2 V-Creates here. So we go for the first one, grabbing the final shield, and we get to the second one, and this will easily be enough damage to take out the Victini from this range, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, another Shadow Gardevoir in the lead. So we just couldn't catch a break with this team. We safe swap into Bronzong, and once again, we're met with a Claydol. Now this time, I'm actually going to go for the payback once again, and I'm going to realize here that if I go for the Heavy Slam, it puts us in a much better position, because now they can fully Mud Snap farm me all the way down, and we barely miss out on the next charge move. And looking at their health, you can see Heavy Slam would not be enough damage to take them out. But what it would mean is that I can come in with my Latios, shield once, and fully Dragon Breath farm them down. But now, because they're so healthy, they make it to a second Shadow Ball, and I have to shield this up because Metagross cannot tank those Mud Slaps very well. And at this point, we basically need them to have Rapidash in the back, but it is a Raichu instead. They will make it to a Thunder Punch before we make it to the Meteor Mash, and even from this range, Thunder Punch does take us out. We can go for the Dragon Breath farm down, but we still won't get there before they make it to a Wild Charge. We throw the Dragon Claw anyways, it takes out the Raichu, but one charm will be taking out the Latios, and we do lose that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, we see Bruxish in the lead, and once again, going to stay in initially, then swap into our Bronzong. And at this point, we will be able to tank one charge move and fully farm them down, especially if they go for the Psychic Fangs, which they do there. Obviously, it does debuff my defense, but the charge move itself does so little damage. And now we can go for a Heavy Slam into the Gardevoir coming in. Heavy Slam, going to grab a shield from the opponent, as they do charm farm us down. Now we are switch locked, they're not, so I'm going to wait out the switch timer here, then come in with my Meteor Mash Metagross, and the opponent once again has double fairy in the back, and this is just so convenient for my shiny Shadow Metagross, as we can shield the body slam. We will be able to fully bullet punch, farm them down before they even make it to another body slam. We go straight for Meteor Mash here, no messing around, and the opponent just lets it go through there, as they knew the game was over. So GG to the opponent. Into the next game, we see a Shadow Metagross from the opponent's end this time around. We safe swap into the Bronzong, and the good thing about this matchup here is that if we want to, we can go for a charge move before they do build up to the back-to-back V-Creates, because if they throw straight away, I think they're in risk of us Feint Attack farming them down in the 2 shields. So here, we do grab a shield advantage, which is really nice for us. Now I'm going to come in with my Shadow Latios. I will actually shield in this matchup here, because we are still very healthy, and Metagross is a very glassy Pokemon, so even though Dragon Breath is resisted damage, it's still going to chunk the Metagross. So we're expecting to see the Metagross coming back in. We're going to go for the Dragon Claw straight away, and then if we grab the shield, I'm going to swap into my own Metagross, and we do grab that final shield, but they've got a Shadow Water Gun Slowbro in the back. I'm trying to get to the Earthquake, we barely don't get there. Honestly, probably should have just gone for the Meteor Mash, because now I thought I could just fully Dragon Breath farm them all the way down, but they make it to a charge move, and these Water Guns are seriously chunking my Latios. I will come out with a Dragon Claw loaded, but it's just not going to be enough damage up against that Metagross. So unfortunately, that Bullet Punch that goes through will be enough to take me out there, and I do lose that game. But GG's to that opponent, and into the next game, we see a Hypno in the lead. So this is a very nice lead matchup for us. Of course, they could be running the Ice Punch. They're definitely running Shadow Ball. They swap into Cresselia. I was hoping I would make it to the Solar Beam there, but unfortunately we don't quite get there. So I just play it safe. I swap into my Bronzong, and this is a really good matchup, even though they do debuff my attack there with the Moonblast, which only has a 10% chance there, which is quite unfortunate on my end, but it still doesn't really change this matchup whatsoever. We're going to let them get to another Grass Knot here. I'm not going to do much damage, and then I will throw once I get to 100 energy. I actually overfarm slightly over 100 there, go for the Heavy Slam, and Heavy Slam is just barely enough to take them out with the attack debuff. They come back in with the Hypno, gonna go straight for the Payback, and Payback does big damage to the Hypno, and at this point I think they've just given up. I'm not sure what they've got in the back. To be honest, it wasn't really the best team there with Hypno and Cresselia, two fairly good picks for the Open Great League, but not so much for this meta. So into the next game, we see Alolan Raichu in the lead. They save swap into Malamar, but they did wait a turn there, it looked like, so I'm able to make it to the Dragon Claw before they make it to the Foul Play. They actually let it go through as well, which is massive for me because now I can shield once and fully Dragon Breath farm them down, and Malamar, one of the trickiest Pokemon to deal with my team, so I'm happy to take it out there. The opponent's going to wait out the switch clock, come in with Galarian Rapidash, and now we can come in with our shiny Shadow Metagross. They don't even build up to potential high horsepower or a Mega Horn, so very easy shielding decision there. They then go for another Body Slam, absolutely fine with me. We can let that go through. They come in with the Raichu, we're only making it to one move, so I might as well full send the Earthquake. They do shield it up there, but we're in a very comfortable position, and even though we do resist all the charge moves from the Alolan Raichu, I'm actually going to come in with the Bronzong instead of the Latios because Bronzong is still very tanky. They go for a Thunder Punch, bait, it doesn't do much damage there, but if they go for a Wild Charge, then they're going to debuff their defense. Either way, it's game over for the opponent as I snipe with my Shadow Latios, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Galarian Slowbro in the lead. So gonna swap out. I do have two better responses as I do resist the Poison Jab damage on both my Steel types in the back. The opponent comes in with a Malamar. They go for a Foul Play, and we've seen this many times. We're now gonna go for a Payback here. We saw that Heavy Sam did get no shielded once in a previous battle, so we full send the Payback, but now this does allow them to overfarm quite considerably and go for the Foul Play, and once again, I do think they have a ton of energy here, so they've probably got a second Foul Play loaded already, but they do stay in quite a while before throwing that second Foul Play, meaning I get them into range where I can farm down with my Metagross. I will have to shield this up, but I will be able to fully Bullet Punch farm them down. So we go for the Foul Play, they swap back into their Slowbro. We're going to go for another Meteor Mash here, and this will do a ton of damage, so we grab the final shield from the opponent, but unfortunately they will be able to outpace me to the next charge move. They go for the Surf here, and unfortunately the second Surf will do a ton of damage even though it's non-stab and it is neutral damage here. And unfortunately there's no point. I had to commit to the full Bullet Punch farm down, but we don't get it, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So going into the final battle of this video, I do believe we lead into a Galarian Rapidash once again. The opponent responds with my Safe Swap with their Bruxish, and once again going to go for a Heavy Slam here. This should be grabbing a shield advantage on my end, and now will they fully commit to the Bite farm down? Yes, they do exactly that. Now they've actually got quite a lot of energy here, so what I'm going to do is wait out my switch clock, come in with the Latios. I will let the first move go through. Whatever it is, it's going to be resisted. It's just the Psychic Fangs, and actually I'm not going to throw or try to Dragon Breath farm them down here. I'm actually going to let them take me out here because once again I know Latios is useless up against the Rapidash, and luckily for me I do core break their team with my shiny Shadow Metagross as they've got a Poison Jab Slowbro in the back. Now Poison Jab double resisted, we've seen already Surf does quite a lot of damage. I'm just going to play it safe, throw the Meteor Mash before they even make it to a Body Slam. We take out the Rapidash, and from this range I should be able to shield once and fully farm them down. They make it to a Surf. If they've got the back-to-back, they will be able to take me out, but they didn't, and I'm able to Bullet Punch, farm them down, and take that game. And we did actually go 5-0 in that final set. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.